Oh, this is very zoomed in, to say the least.
Whoa.
Oh, goodness. I don't know why it's so zoomed in, but hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us here. We'll try to get it fixed here in just a little bit.
Check.
But hopefully you guys can hear me, and welcome to another episode, or not an episode, but rather a live, in
Live
regards to
update
the
on
winter storm going on here. So, Davion,
Yeah,
I don't
why
know if
is
you
that?
want to, I don't know.
Hello?
We don't know how to fix the
Technical
settings on this camera,
difficulties.
so we're just gonna make do with it as for right now. But hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. We know we've had a kind of a busy last few hours, to say, for the can you guys hear us, by the way? Okay,
Can hear
you guys
now.
can hear.
Can hear now. I have sound
Okay.
now. Cool. Okay.
Just making sure.
Okay,
but
yeah, I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, kicking it off.
Kicking it off with the live update. First thing we can do is look outside, and just like James and everyone is saying, lots of snow redevelopment out west. Yeah, we're starting to see that.
It's been picking up on Mega Doppler. So if we can switch on over to Mega Doppler for you guys.
And I got your Mega Doppler for you.
Exactly.
Zooming out on the whole region. Look at all of that precipitation and snowfall out west towards Tulsa. This is Tulsa's radar, right? Yep.
Yes,
Tulsa's
it is.
radar. Look how heavy that is over there. That is some heavy snow bands trying to work their way back into portions of the coverage area. At least here in Washington County, especially. I mean, obviously we're here in Fayetteville. I mean, this camera zoomed in is it's going to be the death.
We're gonna make do with it in the meantime. But
anyways, the dry slot that we were talking about, it actually happened a lot earlier than what the models had, at least when we last looked at them. If we previously thought the dry slot would last all the way to about 6, it really never. The precipitation calmed down, but it never really stopped all the way. At least not for
it. Definitely got lighter,
to
say the least. Yeah, so there were times where I went outside, and you were able to kind of go out and see that there was no snow falling. And then right before coming in, just before 2 p.m., I also was hearing a little bit of sleet that was falling. So that's something we are continuing to keep an eye on, especially with the warm nose, because it looks like there is a little bit of a warm nose coming in, just a little bit, that, could bring in some sleet, especially down into the River Valley region still. So LaFleur and Scott counties in particular could see some of the higher sleet accumulations by the end of this system. But look at all that energy just packing in all the way out towards the west right now, just hitting Oklahoma.
All of the sleet that we're going to see, because that we're going to show, obviously we're going to show computer models. All of the sleet that we're going to see is definitely going to start to cause the roads to be a little bad. We previously were seeing all snow. That's not going to be the case, especially with that warm nose trying to nose upwards, especially like Aleshly just said, down into the river valley. That's going to be a concern that we're going to continue to have to watch, because the roads are fine now. There's been obviously there's some roads that are, worse than others, but the sleet is going to make things a little more complicated as we head into tonight, and that on top of already untreated roads, because there have been some roads that were plowed, but new accumulation makes it seem like the work has never done. It never has.
Yeah. The roads are definitely a little bit questionable right now. So no matter where you're going,
getting to work was fine.
Getting to work was fine to some extent.
Yeah, we were dodging college students on Dixon Street.
But also, to be fair, I am from Ohio, so driving in the snow the way it is right now is nothing new to me. I'm used to driving in this kind of weather. Many of us probably aren't. I know you're not used to this kind of snowfall whatsoever coming from the Carolinas.
Yeah, I'm from the Carolinas. We see more freezing rain. Exactly what they're going to see. That's what I'm used to. So it's been an experience trying to forecast for a foot of snow in portions of the coverage area. I do still think it's a possibility. I do. That's a lot of that precipitation shield out west is really showing.
Just a lot of energy. And now I'm seeing some of those comments coming in. People are picking up on sleet. Our chief meteorologist, Dan Scoff, we called him just prior to going live, and he also mentioned there is some sleet out there. So thank you guys for reporting that. We're definitely keeping an eye on that. So keep in mind, if you see sleet coming in, it could cut down on some of those snow accumulation totals, but we're not saying we're going to see only 2 inches after this. We're still expecting a decent amount of snowfall to occur from this incoming band that will be moving through. So
in fact, if we take a look at sat radar right now on Max 1, look at the precipitation shield that's off to the west. That is a lot of snowfall that's making its way over towards our area, and that's going to be round two. We were on for round one. Now we have round two coming up, and yeah, it's going to be a little interesting to see what happens because again, that's a lot of snowfall making its way towards our direction. And we get off the pointer real quick, zoom in on the camera. There we go. Yeah, and there is the big low pressure system that's going to be moving over towards our direction. Yeah, I think we do have the chance to still see a very big increase in our snowfall totals here across Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. But of course, that's going to be followed by sleet as well, or accompanied with sleet, I should say.
Yeah, and like we saw in the Mega Doppler as well, a little bit of the sleet just coming in from the south there. So we've been looking at some of the models. They are beginning to favor possibility of a sleet. Also, just definitely the beginning half of the second portion of the system. I know that could be a little wordy there, but it is looking like some sleet is trickling in.
A little bit of a 1-2 punch. In the left corner, we have, no, I'm joking, weighing in at about 12 inches. No, I'm joking. We have sleet, and in the right corner, we have snow. Can you tell that we're still a little delirious about all of the precipitation coming in?
There's just so much of it coming through. And I will say it doesn't matter whether we get snow or sleet, especially if you get sleet down in the River Valley region. That could be a concern for some of us out here. Those roads will be icy, especially after that sleet just continues to stick onto those roads.
In fact, speaking of sleet, I want to change Mega Doppler real quick to we were on the Tulsa radar. I'm changing this to the Fort Smith radar.
Okay. So yeah, as he's taking care of that,
once it decides
there we
to
go.
load.
There we go. So we can pull that up for you guys.
County, we got Waldron.
So right now, looking at Waldron High School, a little bit of precipitation.
That's pretty. Maybe some very small snowflakes are mixed in with some sleet. That looks like sleet.
That's sleet. That's sleet. It's not looking like heavy snow whatsoever.
Yeah, now last night we were able to zoom in on the light fixture above, and it was easy to see precipitation. Obviously, everything is painted white now, so it's kind of hard to tell. But there's Mega Doppler, and that definitely looks like sleet over portions of Scott County. That's going to continue to be a trend as we go throughout the next several hours. I mean, look at all of that.
Look at that.
That is a lot of
coming in from behind. So you could definitely expect that down into the River Valley region. Prepare for the sleet because, like I mentioned, that will make those roads slick. It will cause for hazardous travel conditions.
It definitely will. Even snow and grapple all the way reported up here in Washington County a little earlier today. So that's going to continue to be the case. Chief Meteorologist Danskoff did say we had some sleet pellets falling across portions of Washington County a little earlier. That's, like we said, that's going to cause some issues on the road more than what we were seeing, at least for the first half of this system.
Yeah, we know right now the Razorback games just started 10 minutes ago. So there's some people that
get that win.
Yeah, it was definitely, I would say, I mean, we did come in a little bit before 2 p.m. and I know the doors opened at 2:30 for those people. So it was looking quite empty around the arena, I would say the least. I'm sure that has definitely changed between now and then. But for those, traveling to the Razorback games, and if loved ones or friends and family that are traveling, make sure that they take extra caution going home because like we see this second wave of energy coming in. And so they're going to see a little bit more precipitation out on those roads than what they probably saw coming in for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a little concerning after the basketball game ends. The good news is it did look like a lot of the students were going, which they walked. We saw them walking, or maybe
the students were having fun.
They were walking. Some of them were sledding on their way to the game.
Yeah,
just having fun with it. Check this out.
I don't blame them.
Check out this comment. Reed Timmer drove through Fayetteville on I-49.
Oh,
you have a big storm system on your hands when Reed Timmer is driving through your town.
Oh man, I didn't even know.
That's either good or bad news.
Depending on town.
That's either good or bad news, depending on how you look at it. But
yeah.
Man, that is a strong shield of precipitation just to the southeast
of
Tulsa.
It's a lot of energy. We can show that to you guys.
Yeah, we're not done yet. If you guys, I'm sure that Chief Meteorologist Danskoff and Josh Rooker, they covered earlier today.
Yeah,
and I know a lot of questions where you woke up and were like, "Where's the 12 inches of snow at?" Guys, we are not done. We have a lot of energy, and this is going to be because of that upper level low, the main energy that's going to be moving towards us as we go throughout the next several hours. So you see that just to the north of Muskogee. Man, that is a lot. That is a pretty heavy shield of snow that's moving towards our direction. Now, I do want to take the time to stress something on radar.
Mm-hmm.
We can take this forward. I do want to stress something because there's a lot of times where we look at mega Doppler radar and you see that the heavy returns of snow.
Yeah.
But there's also something to take into account. Not all of that is exactly reaching the ground right below it. You know what I'm saying? So when we look at reflectivity for rain, obviously rain falls pretty normal, but snow doesn't fall the same way as rain. It's very light in nature, so it waddles around and dances. And sometimes on its way down, it can actually encounter dry air, and that can allow your snowfall to maybe not be as heavy as it may look on radar sometimes. So it'll be interesting to see how heavy that band actually is once it starts to make its way over towards some of our cameras, and we'll be able to see that. But nonetheless,
agreed.
A lot of energy coming our way. We are not done. I'm excited, but also want to paint the picture of letting you guys know that roads weren't too bad earlier today, but this will make those roads a little bit more treacherous, especially as we go throughout the overnight and into tomorrow. Going to be a little bit of a different story than what we saw earlier this afternoon coming in.
Agreed. So yeah, we've just been keeping an eye on that. And as a reminder, we still have that winter storm warning in place up until 3 p.m. tomorrow. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. The wording hasn't changed on that necessarily.
Yeah.
They said, hold on, I can pull it up real quick on my end if I can try to find it real quick. So give me guys one quick second while I find it. Yes. But yeah, we're just
look at that heavy band, heavy band around McAllister. Yeah, that snow sleet line on mega Doppler is like right over McAllister, and that is man, that's certainly going to cause some problems. And all that energy is nosing up towards Fort Smith. That's just to the southwest of Fort Smith, and that's a pretty heavy band of precipitation as well. So like we said, that's sleet or grapple or even some freezing rain could be mixed in on the far southern portions of this. So we're not done yet. The roads are definitely going to be a little treacherous as we head into the next several hours. So we got the upper level low energy starting to move in, or at least beginning to move in off to our west. Look at that nose of precipitation. It's increasing.
It's picking up like crazy. It's just nonstop.
And the models have been showing that warm nose just like lifting just to the south of Washington County, or at least southern portions of Washington County. So we may see that.
Someone's asking where's the warm nose located.
Yeah, so here's where you can see. Here, I'll use the pointer here if it'll let me. I guess it won't let me. Well, anyways, the warm nose is right where you see the snow as well as the sleet line, where it changes from the blue and purple and pink returns to the orange. That's the warm nose. That's warm air aloft that's moving in over the colder air, and that's why you're starting to see those sleet returns. And we actually have a graphic for that. We were showing this last night in the shows as well as a little earlier. Here's the one I use. We have a lot of them. There's so many.
Yeah, there's so many.
This
we could cover.
Workspace is locked by.
You can take it. Go ahead and
take the lock. Whatever. So here this is explaining why you start to see precipitation change, wintry precipitation change as we go throughout the duration of this storm. So this is taking its sweet time loading. It's probably had as long a night as we've had.
The computers have had their fair shares of runs over the last few days, and even especially over the last 24 hours.
They've been putting in 24-hour shifts
with us going live nonstop to make sure you guys are covered, but
heating up. I wonder if Rutgers Bet has won with how many students are at the game.
How many people are at the game? It was like over 14,000.
Yeah, over under 14,000. Okay, I had to find the graphic again. Okay, there it is.
Okay.
So we got this loading up, and we'll take you through this and explain why that warm nose is happening, and we'll also explain what that means in terms of precipitation types. Hopefully, I'm a good explainer more than I have. I have unlimited time now.
Yeah,
on the newscast, it was a little rough. We're like 30 seconds. I was like, oh, not done yet. So obviously, when you have warm air aloft and it freezes the rain, or it starts off as a snow pellet or a snow, what's the word I'm looking for? Not a dendrite, just a snowflake. There it is.
There we go.
I can't talk today. A snowflake. And you have warm air down all the way to the surface. Of course, you just get rain. But when you have freezing rain, that's because there is some cold air moving in, but cold air doesn't rise. So it stays a little low to the surface, and you have warm air aloft. And that warm air layer aloft is actually pretty thick. So after that snowflake, oh my goodness, drops into a warm layer in a column of air.
Yep.
it'll melt, and it'll melt into rain. And then because it doesn't have time to refreeze, it'll fall as a raindrop, but whatever it falls on will freeze. And I do want to stress this as well. There's often a mystery, or not a mystery, but I guess a miscommunication that heavy freezing rain will, be worse than light freezing rain.
Yeah.
Actually, it can be a little bit bad for freezing, like drizzle and light freezing rain. Because you think about it, if it's raining really hard, the precipitation is bouncing off everything and, hitting the ground. Of course, it can still be bad for the streets, of course. But when you have light precipitation in the form of freezing rain, it falls and it sticks onto whatever. So if I'm a raindrop, I fall onto a power line. If it's light rain, I'm not going anywhere. I'm freezing on that power line.
Yeah.
And then you add the weight to the power lines and you start to see power outages. And that's exactly what's happening to the south of us, especially along Louisiana and Texas, where those ice storm warnings were.
Yeah, they are beginning to see more widespread power outages out there at the current moment too.
Okay, so back to the graphics. So here's what's going on for our area. And of course, we've been talking about sleet filling up in the river valley with the warm nose. So the warm air that's aloft is actually a little bit thinner. That in the column of air, the warm layer is very thin. And that's why you see cold air filtering in at the bottom as well. And it's a lot more cold air. So that allows a little bit more time for that raindrop, after it melts into a raindrop, to refreeze a little bit. And that's when you get the little ice pellets that sound like someone's knocking at your window over and over again, throwing rocks through your window. Open the door.
Yeah.
And then of course, if you have a full column of air that's cold, you get the snowfall, which is what we're going to continue to see, especially north of I-40. I do think that it looks like that freezing line is trying to set up to the north of I-40, or the warm nose, I should say. But we will see how this plays out. I think it's time to pull up a model or something.
Yeah, we can. We can start looking through that real quick. But in the meantime, I want to go ahead real quick and just kind of talk about, some of the snowfall accumulations we've seen thus far. So I have a list of it here, but report from Madison County saying 4 inches thus far. Franklin County, just under 2.5 inches.
Interesting.
Washington County, which this is actually from the Emergency Management Department, they reported snow 4 inches around their area. Another public report says a little bit over 3 inches. So right now we've seen anywhere from about 3 to 4 inches, especially here in Northwest Arkansas. I've been keeping up with these reports as they continue to come in. Another one from Benton County around Pea Ridge reported 3.5 inches. So right now, a lot of people are asking about how much more snow accumulations we could potentially see, and we can go through the models and show you that too. But I was looking at some of the latest model runs just not too long ago before going live, actually, and they were showing about anywhere from 7 to 9 inches more in terms of snow accumulation. That's just for what's tonight, like this second round.
Yeah, that's additional accumulation, not
this
total.
This is additional. This is not like on top of what this is not including what we've already seen right now. So if you're saying 7 inches and then add another 3 inches on top of what we already saw, that's 10 inches right there.
Right.
So
and that's of course that's going to do some damage to our roadways.
Exactly. So and we're expecting heavier snowfall tonight than last night. So this first round was basically a setup per se of like what's to come here. So this is definitely something to keep in mind. And I would say the Arkansas-Missouri border, especially here from Northwest Arkansas up until Southwestern Missouri, is seeing about the same amount of accumulation as here. So they're estimating at least 8 inches in that area, maybe upwards up to 12 inches. So basically about the same thing we're expecting here, you could expect over there as well.
It's just so hard to forecast for freezing, like winter weather. Yeah. It's so hard because I'll explain on the newscast last night. You guys were with me on the newscast last night. What is this comment? Wave 1 was driven by, they know their stuff. Hunter knows his stuff. That was a lot of energy from the Baja region, and models do not do a good job with energy from the Baja region. You got all those small areas of lift out ahead of the main upper level low.
Yes,
and that's why we saw kind of or we're going to see kind of a 1-2 punch. So in the right corner, that was round one. Round 1 was we got about 3 to 4 inches across the area. Not bad. Obviously, models were a little bit underdone or a little bit overdone in terms of that. But nonetheless, what happened was dew points last night when we started to see snowfall finally reach the ground, but it took so long for the air to saturate. So we just saw the
Yeah.
temperatures continuing to drop, continuing to drop. In fact, on Posey Mountain, you could see so much snow sublimating in the air. It was
Yeah.
actually kind of ridiculous. Even on Dripping Springs, our Kisser Weatherbug Network camera, you can see the snow. It almost looked like a shelf cloud that was moving in, but a lot of it was evaporating before it finally got to the camera. And that's because the air was just so dry. It took a long time for the snow and wintry precipitation to saturate the air long enough to reach the ground. So the first like maybe 2 to 3 hours or so, the radar returns, and we were having a lot of questions about why does it say it's snowing on radar, but I don't see anything. And that's because it was evaporating before it reached the ground. And that was happening for a pretty long duration before it finally started to reach the ground. And then we started to see that accumulate. So that's nonetheless, of course, why we started to see the models, or at least the amount of accumulation, a little bit less than what happened.
Also, having to keep in mind how high up these radar beams go, especially over our area, because we're in a little bit of a radar hole per se.
Exactly.
So you're seeing these beams go so up high that it's registering the snow, but it's not necessarily registering, the sleet that's building up from right under. And so our camera, it read my hand here and it's kind of stopping. There we go. I think it stopped it there now. But yeah, so there's a whole bunch of energy right here. That warm nose, it's probably being missed by the radar beam. So that's why a lot of us are probably seeing, hey, it's showing snow over Fayetteville right now, but it's actually sleet, and that's why. So that's definitely important to keep in mind.
Let's see. I want to see if we could pull up the camera of Graduate Hotel just really quickly.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll pull up some cameras, in fact, because I mean, there's a whole bunch of views out here. Look at
okay, here it is.
Springs.
Okay, yeah, Graduate Hotel. Check this out. So here's something that I do want to point out. So of course, if you're here in Washington County or in and around, especially or even Benton County as well, they're starting to see that nose of check out that precipitation shield moving in. Anyways, remember you guys, we were talking about the dry break that we were going to have, a little bit of lull in activity.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I want to stress, you heard us talking about how it took so long for the air columns to finally saturate enough to see the snowfall reach the ground. Well, that low period, we were still seeing, although we did have a low, the precipitation did go very, very light, but nonetheless, it was still making it to the ground. And you can see that on Graduate Hotel right now, it's still precipitating. So when this heavier band of snow moves in, it won't have to fight dry air as hard as it did last night. And that's why a lot of the models are still painting that we're going to see a lot of accumulation. And the models they're showing some heavy snow. We can finally show you one of those computer models. Here is the HER model going into that. And check this out. There's no pause points on this, of course. I'll just strong arm it. Here we go. Zooming in a little bit, 7:30. Look, so this is moving fast now. And that makes sense because we're already starting to see that energy move to our area. That's heavy snow. Those returns that you see of darker blues as well as bright pinks, that's heavy snow and sleet. And zooming in, look how that is just along I-40 that continues. And then check this out watch Fort Smith, that band just after midnight. Now, this band of heavy precipitation as well as the warm nose, this can set up shop just a few miles north of where it's showing right now, a few miles south. So we're going to have to continue to watch that. But nonetheless, wherever that band is, that's where you're going to see the heaviest amount of snow as well as sleet and even some freezing rain in some spots. And then watch how long it lasts, well into the overnight period. And then it's finally starting to dwindle down late into the morning hours and into the afternoon. So we're not done yet. We're going to have we have a little bit of a storm on our hands as all that upper level energy moves through. Again, it won't be fighting any dry air because precipitation is already reaching the ground across the coverage area.
Exactly. So. And we can go ahead and look at the NAM model because, we always like to look at more than one model, as always.
Here's the warm bias model, you guys.
Exactly. So you can.
I will say though that looks pretty similar to the HER.
It's similar to what's happening right now, almost. In fact, with some of the sleet that we're currently seeing.
Looks pretty accurate.
You could see showing a little bit of a break, which is, kind of right now, but we can see that the energy is quite literally on its way here at the current moment, broken up in the River Valley, just like what it is right now, picking up, heading into around the 8 p.m. time frame.
So here,
the warm nose into Fayetteville.
Yeah. So here is a comment. We would like to know if Fort Smith is going to get snow or ice. Well, you see on the models, there's going to be a little bit of a mix for Fort Smith and points down, especially along I-40 and south. You guys are going to definitely going to see snow, and of course, but that you can see that warm nose on both the her and the NAM model. They're showing that warm nose right over Fort Smith, nosing up. So you guys will definitely see some more sleet as well. And I want to stress this again, that's going to cause problems on the roads, the sleet, and then you get more snow on top of that. It's going to be a mess.
And you know what's interesting? This feels like more of like a pump fake situation that Dan, always mentions.
With
because
the models.
2 days ago, they were actually showing sleet the way it is right now.
Right.
And then yesterday, it actually pushed the warm nose farther south, and we were expecting more snow. So.
And now it's back.
The storm is following the trends from 2 days ago and not yesterday necessarily. So that's very interesting discrepancy to point out. This is also why we always approach things with caution because, like we said, right now the models kind of changed back and took back basically what they said.
Can you tell the models love playing basketball?
Yeah.
With the pump fakes, can you tell?
It's like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So it's like, which one is it? That kind of thing.
I think it's time we show an accumulation model.
Yeah, let's go for it.
I did the 4-panel just because I did have the her model showed up last night. That was a very good. It showed that pause point. We got all 4 for right now. We'll just go through it because
we'll go through it. I feel like
honestly. Okay, let's
go through it one by one. Let's go.
So there's the lower resolution version of the NAM 20. And you can see that heavy band of precipitation. If we switch this to Mega Doppler just really quickly.
Yeah,
sorry,
let's
guys.
switch. No, you're good. Actually, let me pull it up here. So keep that up.
Yeah.
I'll pull up Mega Doppler on my end so that we can switch between the two just for you guys here. Oh, right. We have it pulled up. So we're going. We're there.
Yeah, so check that out. If you can see that heavy band of snow starting to move in just to the south and east of Tulsa, really right over Tulsa and points eastward. And then you see the NAM model, where it's showing the heaviest accumulation. That looks like it checks out just a little bit. Of course, the system's not done yet, but that's a very real possibility. But notice down into the river valley, it's a little bit less, and that's because there's going to be some sleet mixed in. And sleet does eat at snowfall totals, so that's going to be something we keep in mind. Higher resolution NAM, of course, is nested. It's going to show similar scenario, a little bit more snow for the river valley, but nonetheless, that's a pretty similar track. It's looking like that bullseye is right over Washington County and points northward. So that would be something to see. And higher elevations, of course, over towards Harrison. The GFS is,
I think it's overdoing it.
A little strong.
It's been way too strong GFS over the last few days.
Talking a little sideways with this 15.8 in Harrison.
And mind you, it's wanting to show this on top of what we've already seen.
Yeah, this is on top of what we've already seen, guys. So I don't necessarily buy that. The European model is a little strong as well, but not out of the realm of possibility. I don't think 14 is happening, but
yeah, so these are in addition to what we've already gotten. At least that's what they're saying.
Yes,
so
these are in addition to what's already fallen. And I don't necessarily it's not impossible.
It's not impossible. Maybe we could fall just under that.
I believe the 9 to 10 range more than the 14 range. And again, this is on top of what we already got. So that would put our snowfall map total pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Just want to put that out there. We were pretty accurate with that, but not to toot our own horns. Forecasting for winter weather
can be tough. It can be tough.
It's tough.
So a couple of questions here right now. Should we get a lot more snow this round than last night? That's what we're expecting.
Correct.
We're expecting more snow with the second round that will be coming in rather than last night. And then I'm trying to see.
It's bipolar for sure. Yeah, it is. It is.
Sleet mix with snow and gentry has been for about an hour. Yes, this
warm
is
nose.
part of the warm nose. So
is.
This is that warm nose that we've been eyeing because this will, greatly decide whether you get snow or sleet there.
I just want to zoom this out again so you can see the entire coverage area.
Yeah. So if I pull that up there so you can show that.
There's a zoomed out version of Mega Doppler right now, and you can see where you have the changeover between snow as well as sleet. Now, of course, some of the returns are not going to be 100% perfect. You may still see sleet in parts north. Like we saw sleet here around the station parts earlier. Obviously, there's so much snow, but nonetheless, mostly snow for right now along and north of Interstate 40, except for over there towards Jasper. You
Yeah.
guys are seeing some a warm nose as well, and maybe
The warm nose probably
yeah.
is there because,
Yeah.
like we mentioned, the radar beams
they can shoot up a little higher the further
yeah,
out
exactly,
you go.
especially
So
relative to Fort Smith there.
right, so it's definitely detecting that warm nose, and that's why some of you guys are seeing sleet versus snowfall as of right now, and that'll continue over the next several hours.
And then someone mentioned, so the models sound all over the board like they were last night too.
I would say this is more in terms of accumulation.
Yeah,
I would say the only true outlier right now is the GFS with showing
I feel like
pretty close.
It's the long range models that are showing to be
and that's why we show higher. So here's our forecasted snow and sleet totals that we've made, and you see we have 8 to 10 for our northernmost counties, and then you see like central southern Washington and Benton County, and then along towards over towards Harrison, you see 10 to 12 and 12 to 16 plus for both of those.
Yeah,
now keep in mind we've already seen about 3 to 4.5 inches in some areas already. So this is
so if you say you've seen 4.5 inches, you could still expect to see maybe about 8 inches more, especially in the higher
that will put
elevation.
that will put the map pretty accurate. You see down into the River Valley as well, 10 to 12 plus for portions of Fort Smith. And this is because that warm nose was getting pushed down to the south yesterday.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how much accumulation happens in Fort Smith now.
Yeah.
Because that warm nose is not as far south as the models pump faked it to be last night and earlier yesterday. So we'll see what happens, because again, sleet does eat at your snowfall totals. And then you can see down into the River Valley, there's another growing concern that we are not growing, but I guess it is a growing concern that we haven't really touched on. Scott County, Waldron, and points south, there is the very real threat of freezing rain moving in as well. We saw some freezing rain last night. It actually started as freezing rain on the Waldron camera when we first zoomed into the little light fixture.
Yeah,
it started as freezing rain, and you can tell it was rain because it was coming down over in Waldron.
It was.
And then you can see the slick roads, and then it changed over to snowfall overnight. Very real possibility that a similar situation happens again with this warm nose nosing up that far. Freezing rain is not what you want to see. So up to 0.3 of an inch of ice possible. That's going to cause some problems on the roads for sure.
And a good reminder that our map or the graphic that we're showing right now, this is total. This is not what's to come. Some of this has already occurred. So this is going to be by the end of the system.
Yes.
From, the beginning of Saturday all the way up until Sunday. So this is including what already fell this morning.
Yes. I think we should take a look at some more cameras.
Let's pull up some cameras. Let's show you guys what's been going on out there. Show you the roads. I know some of you are probably home, comfortable in bed, which, is lovely. Take advantage of that while you can. So yeah, here's some of our network cameras right now, and you can kind of see.
Check out P Ridge. Oh, that's a cool shot. P Ridge High School. Let's see if I can pull that up big. P Ridge High School looks awesome.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Man.
Look at all the snow.
That's football weather right there. This is kind of whether you go out and play football and maybe stat pad a little bit.
Someone just asked, what is the likelihood roads would be okay by Monday afternoon? Me personally,
I think that leads us into our next graphic.
Yes, and we can definitely talk about this because it's a little bit of a concern for what those roads will be like heading into the new week, of course, and that's because there's an extreme cold warning. So it's valid tonight. It hasn't even, it's valid now, all the way up until 12 p.m. Friday or Monday, sorry. And then the hazards with that is dangerously cold wind chills between -5 to -15. It'll get cold. Hypothermia and frostbite will also be possible if precautions are not taken. So the reason why we bring this up, and if you want to go into it.
Yeah, you're good. I was going to say, you touched on the hypothermia.
Yes.
If you don't take the necessary precautions. The language that the National Weather Service used, and of course our forecasting office, is life-threatening cold.
Yes.
If you don't take the necessary precautions. So here's where we shift our focus from obviously having fun in the snow. It's a fun thing. When I was a kid, even now, I still enjoy playing out in the snow whenever I have it. Maybe not playing now, but now forecast for it. That's a little more fun. But nonetheless, after that, you start to shift your focus to the dangerously cold air. Here's where the storm is not so pleasant, along with the road conditions. not taking this extreme cold warning pretty seriously can be very detrimental to your health. If you're outside without the proper layers on, you want to make sure you're staying dry. You want to make sure you have the proper layers on and enough layers as well. And you really want to make sure you're taking care of your pipes indoors. And that's why we're concerned about power outages as well. Now, the question, of course, was the likelihood of this all being clear on Monday. I can tell you right now, I think the likelihood of this being clear on Monday is pretty much zero.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is temperatures by Monday are still not going to be above freezing. Even though the extreme cold warning expires Monday afternoon, throughout the majority of this week, temperatures are going to struggle to get above freezing. And when they finally do, maybe late Tuesday afternoon, or even not, if not Tuesday, Wednesday afternoon, it'll only be for a few hours. So there'll be some melting, but overnight lows will continue to plunge well below 32 degrees. So whatever does melt will refreeze, and it could likely refreeze in a different area. You see snow or ice melting at the top of the hill. It melts, falls down the hill, then it refreezes at night. Now you have just treacherous driving conditions. So I expect driving conditions on roads to really continue to be hazardous all the way through late next week.
Yeah, and we can take a beautiful look at the roads right now. At least beautiful. The roads are not beautiful, but I would say it's a beautiful grid because you have a few cameras up here, both along Interstate 49.
What's your favorite view right now?
The favorite view of mine? They look all about the same. I will say all about the same just because you can see that there's still very much snow and ice out on those roads. And after you've driven across, a certain portion, it's so cold that whatever's exposed is basically going to ice over.
It looks like it's so cold that the mile marker 72 and 71 have froze. That's how cold it is. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, it does look like those cameras are frozen.
Okay, so my favorite camera here, that's a really good question.
Is more snow coming or is it done now? It's definitely more snow coming.
Oh yeah, more snow coming. More snow coming. So don't think that it's over. This is what we were warning people about yesterday. We were like, don't let this fool you because it's going to definitely pick up heading into tonight there. So, oh my God, I didn't even answer the question. Which one's my favorite view? They all look the same to me.
I was going to say Way Station, mile marker 72 until I saw it was frozen. I don't think that counts anymore. So now I'll just
I mean, it is a great view though in terms of what people could expect hitting the roads today. So a little bit treacherous to say the least. This is something where you have to drive with caution nonetheless, especially because people have driven over. So you'll see, whatever's kind of been trampled on icing over.
Right.
Like I literally took footsteps in the snow earlier this morning and then, went back outside a few moments later, like a few hours later, and it was all frozen over where I stepped on. So
yeah, and it was very slippery too.
So yeah, there's definitely ice underneath some of the snow. Do not let that fool you whatsoever. And then the band over in Pittsburgh County in Oklahoma has strengthened, heading northeast towards Fort Smith Van Buren area. So, oh yeah, we can take a good look at Mega Doppler right now. Thank you for that, Jeremy, and just kind of show everyone what's going on right now. So if we
got
you got it.
Mega Doppler.
Got it right here.
Loading. Oh, there it is. Yep.
So you could see, look at all that energy coming in, guys. And a lot of people have been asking about the timing. I'll pull up the graphics so that you guys could see that as well. Because I know some of us were asking, when is it really going to be picking up? And this is a question I've been seeing throughout the live stream here. But I'll show you real quick. This is what the timing we put, 4 to 6 p.m., especially for sleet down in the River Valley region. So we're seeing that coming in now, the bulk of that energy. You can see the bulk of that energy continuing through the rest of the region between 6 to 8 p.m. in the blues, and then the purples indicating 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. And that's going to mostly be snow. So I hope this gives you guys a good idea of what you can expect, at least for the second round to really begin to pick back up. It's a little bit light right now, but we're expecting the bulk of it to really begin during this time frame.
Check out Mega Doppler. Check out all the reports coming out of Tulsa right now. We've got ice pellets, we've got sleet, we've got what's the green? Mixed rain. So yeah, so all of this just wintry bag of precipitation. I can't even call it all of snow just because of the reports. Nonetheless, whatever falls will accumulate. Temperatures are well below freezing. In fact, we haven't looked at temperatures yet, have we?
No, we haven't. We've been so busy talking about the snow that we haven't even looked at temperatures.
Cold. Let's find a good camera.
Also, real quick, Rogers and Gravette public schools are closed for Monday. I know Rogers was the first one, first major school district here to say that yes, schools are closed. So make sure to check back in with those updates, of course, to see which other schools and school districts do begin to close. I would definitely expect more road closures because I don't think a lot of these roads will be clear and safe just in time. And not only just clear roads, it's also going to be very cold. And I know a lot of these school districts do not like sending kids out to school when it's so cold.
Yeah, those buses, they won't be making it up any kinds of hills. So yeah, they're like we said, temperatures won't be coming above freezing. There won't be I can expect the driving conditions won't be acceptable by the time we get to Monday. It'll still be pretty rough out there.
And it's interesting. I
trying to find a good camera that has snowfall. Let's check out Gravette.
Yeah, let's check it out real quick. I'm so thrown off working on a Saturday, which of course, giving you guys the coverage, but you have schools calling out like a day and a half early, basically. So yeah, this is definitely something important to take. And I think it's a good idea or a good call.
Yeah, good call.
In my personal opinion, because you'd rather these kids be safe than sorry.
Check out Harrison.
Oh yeah, look at that.
You can't even see anything.
That's
how you know it's
really
coming
picking
down.
up, especially in the higher elevations there. So
the map is purple. Yeah, it's cold out there, guys. So you see the River Valley hovering in the upper teens, lower 20s. Fort Smith right at 20. Look at Northwest Arkansas, pretty much north of Interstate 40.
It's cold.
Yeah, it's cold.
It's cold.
And it's going to continue to get even colder. And even with all of the precipitation starting to move in, I have to say that this looks like maybe the round 1.8 or 2.5. Are we having 3 rounds of precipitation? Because that lull was really a very short lull. Let's check out satellite and radar.
No, I think if you keep looking out, this is definitely a bigger punch in the second round of energy. Look at that, guys.
Yeah, that filled in really quickly.
This is a lot of energy here. So this is heading our way here, and you're going to be expecting this to be sticking around all the way up until Sunday. So
let's just zoom. Look how large this system is.
This is a massive system.
We have precipitation falling from Ohio all the way to Arizona.
Oh yeah, and mind you, back home, Columbus, Ohio, for me, they're expecting 11 to 14 inches. So it's not like we're using up all the energy from the system. No, this is going to impact a good portion of the country here. And we can also take a good look at the watches and warnings to show you my gosh, it's just so much going on.
Ice storm warnings back home for my hometown.
Yep.
Ice storm warnings to the south of us as well, southern Arkansas included in that, but northern Louisiana as well as north central Mississippi. Man, that you guys are dealing with a lot of freezing rain right now and sleet. It's just a large and nasty storm that's just moving through.
And then just look how far this goes. This is going from parts
quite literally
Texas,
goes from New Mexico and Texas to Maine.
All the way. All the way.
If there was if we forecasted for parts of Canada, I'm sure they'd be included as well.
Oh yeah. 100%.
So crazy to see a storm this magnitude move in. But back to the energy that's off to our west. A lot of questions right now. Still a lot to come. A lot. Yeah, that's a very good way to put it, Hunter. There is a lot of energy that's continuing to move towards our direction. Look how Oklahoma City is getting a pretty good thumping of snow right now. That's moving towards us, over towards Lubbock and the Texas Panhandle. The energy is still filling in. Notice we still have the low. In fact, I want to take a look at water vapor imagery. Let's see if I can pull that up really quickly. I have to scroll a little bit in my hit. So here's water vapor imagery. I'm curious to see where this low pressure is now. I have to shift it. Let's clear all that off. Clear all that out. Clear that out. Clear. All right, there we go. Camera. Yeah. So
oh my gosh.
Look how far. Yeah. So there's the low pressure. It's over there. And all of the energy out ahead. Yeah, there's a lot more energy to come. That upper level low is going to be moving right over to just to the south.
Yeah.
And that's why that warm nose has been allowed to lift a little further north because of the track of this upper level low.
Oh yeah.
So this will be interesting to see how this plays out. But nonetheless, we are not done with precipitation in the slightest. We're going to have more
It is
snowfall.
a big system to say nonetheless. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Also, wanting to talk about temperatures a little bit because I know we hardly have time. We've had hardly had time to talk about it in the newscast because we're so focused on making sure to give you guys, the proper timing, the expected accumulations that, we've haven't really focused on the cold as much as I would have wanted to. So
it's cold out
we'll
there.
pull up a couple of graphics for you guys in the meantime, but pulling up that mega Doppler so you could see all that energy moving in. Because
I mean, this is about to move into this is what, Delaware County, and Benton County, you guys are about to see a pretty good increase in the amount of precipitation falling. In fact, let's see if we can pull up. Let's check out the Bentonville Square. Of course, it looks a lot different without Christmas lights, but Christmas spirit, snowfall.
Yeah. Pulling it up right
So
there.
you see, it doesn't look like much, at least on camera, but I'm sure there's precipitation falling. And if not, it's definitely about to increase as that band continues to work its way in on that. So let me go back to Mega Doppler real quick, just so you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, check all that out. Yeah, that's that is quite the band of snow that's about to move into across, especially northern sections of the county. And we're continuing to see snow make it down to the ground here in Washington County as well. So,
and this is not only just snow right now, to reiterate, we are seeing reports of there being sleet. It's not necessarily captured on there, but then again, that's a radar beam problem. So you could see there's still some sleet being mixed in with this. So definitely something to consider. And thank you everyone, of course, for those, telling us what they're looking at outside the window, because that is really helpful.
And continue to do so.
Yes.
Please continue to do so. Let us know what you're seeing. In fact, of course, submit your photos to us. You can see that QR code on the right and download our Weather Authority app, because we're just going to continue to cover this large winter storm that has continued to move across our area over the past several hours and continuing more. It's sleet in Washington County for sure. Exactly. We're continuing to see that right here in Washington County, looking outside right at home. Let's see if I can pull up Graduate Hotel again. That's right near us, the square, and you can just see it.
And then someone also asked, what is a warm nose? You've never heard of that term before, and we'll pull up a couple of graphics that we actually have and show you what that actually means, because we have a good couple of explainer graphics that, for those who haven't heard this term before. And I completely get it. These are a lot of, new terms that do come up from time to time, but do you have any?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay,
I have one. I'm going to find, stand by. I'm going to find another one that our chief meteorologist Dan Scoff has used.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very big help. Let's see if I can scroll through and find it. It's probably in his scenes. But yeah, so we're going to explain the warm nose, because the warm nose is the reason that you have different kinds of precipitation. Here it is.
I pulled up that exact graphic at the same time. So we're going to go over it for you guys and let you know what it means, because no, I get it. No.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So you see what you have. So say we're looking to the west right now. I'll go ahead and explain it. And from the north, you're having this shallow Arctic air layer that's below freezing coming right in. So that's what we're experiencing right now from the north, a lot of that Arctic air. And then as you continue going on, you see that there's from the south a little bit of a warm air layer above freezing, and that just kind of goes right over this shallow layer from the north there.
Yeah, because when you think about it, cold air doesn't rise because it's more dense. So
exactly,
cold air gets trapped down below.
Warm air rises because it's not as dense. So you see it right above. So you see that very cold air coming right through. And we spoke a little bit about the temperature profiles earlier, but once that little bit of snow encounters this very warm air all the way down, that's what's going to be causing rain. It's never going to refreeze all over again. Now we can move on to the next type, and that's freezing rain. So you have your snow that encounters that warmer air. That is going to transition into rain, but at the surface, it's going to be cold all over again. So basically, what this allows is for the rain to kind of freeze on contact with whatever it touches along the ground.
And that is why you see ice storm warnings all along very southern portions of Arkansas and then into Mississippi and Louisiana, because that is the kind of precipitation that they are going to see. Freezing rain is the most dangerous form of wintry precipitation.
Yes, exactly. And then now you have sleet. So sleet is, the same thing where the snowflakes encounter that warm air, but then it goes back into this kind of freezing layer where it has enough time to freeze over to become basically ice pellets.
Yeah,
and that's where you're seeing your sleet.
Yeah, that freezing layer is a little thicker than the freezing rain layer, and that's why it has more time.
And then snow just basically encounters the very cold below freezing layer all the way down to the ground.
The cold is like,
it never transitions. The snow stays the way it is. So this is a good explainer for people. And so basically you see that orange warm air layer, that's the warm nose. And that's the warm nose that's coming in from the south and is allowing for sleet to form in our area here. So
here's another graphic. It's the same process. But
we love the graphics.
I think the reason we call it a nose is because when we look at a sounding, I'll take this.
Go ahead.
Just for oops. So there we go.
Good.
When you look at a sounding, we look at a column of air in the atmosphere, and in that column of air, of course, we look at dew point temperature. Of course, there's a lot more, but for simplicity terms, dew point temperature above our or like right at the surface, it's freezing.
Yeah.
But when we start looking at soundings, of course, they're drawn skewed a little bit, QT plot. When you go right above our heads, about 3,000 to 5,000 feet, 850 millibars, that we call it a nose because it noses out above 32 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's only a small part. So, and it looks like just like a triangle, like a steep.
Yeah.
And so we call it a nose. Nonetheless, you can see that on, I think Dan kind of drew that on this graphic. Yeah. So you can see as I take this full, and we're going to go through and explain the exact same thing that we just explained, but just to further clarify, because I mean, you can never have enough science, right? We're nerds. We talk about this all the time. So you can see, I wish they had a pointer graphic or a pointer.
I don't know why it's not working.
Yeah, I don't know why. Oh, there it is. Wait, no. Oh. Yeah. Okay. So you can see precipitation in cold air all the way down a whole column of air. It's snow. It's snow. That's what we're seeing along and north of our coverage area. It's going to be mostly snow. Now, when you see that warm nose, aka that little bit of warm air right there, so you get that snowflake that melts and then refreezes, but it has a lot more time to refreeze before it hits the ground. That's why you get sleet. Now, when it doesn't have a lot of time, it stays a raindrop all the way to the ground, but then it freezes once it hits or on the surface, so below that warm layer. But that's why it freezes on contact. And then, of course, if it's warm all the way through, you get rain. But nonetheless, that is why we're seeing, or why we keep referencing that warm nose, because if we take another look at Mega Doppler, you'll see that warm nose is continuing to show itself. Yeah, it's continuing to show itself along and south of Interstate 40. But there is some ice pellets mixed in with all of this reflectivity showing up as snow as well. And I got to say, once again, that is a lot of energy moving towards our coverage area.
Yeah.
Off to our west. That is a lot. Check out McAllister.
And so people are still reporting that it's steady sleet, especially all the way up in Bella Vista. So radar is not showing it. Mega Doppler's not showing it right now, but it looks like we're having a decent amount of sleet, especially with some of this energy coming in. So
I told you that would start reaching the ground. That certainly is.
Yes.
That's a heavy band.
And we will pull up cameras here in a little bit. And then also Van Buren, you're also going to be expecting some sleet. And then we're not really going to be transitioning into mostly snow, especially the heavy snow up until later tonight.
Yeah, I'd say later tonight.
So later tonight, especially around like 8 p.m. is where you could really begin to see snow there. And then I'm looking at some of the other questions.
Here, I'm going to do iDrive.
And so Benton County in Arkansas, you're looking more at snow, and freezing rain is not a concern for us, more so just sleet, which, still could play a role in hazardous travel conditions, but I think snow is going to be the bulk of where we're expecting a lot. And then
I'm going to change this favor. I'm going to see if we have Bella Vista back up. I know it went down a little earlier. Yeah, it's still down.
Okay, wait. We're working with the cameras right now. Oop.
Nope. Yeah, it's back.
Okay. So we'll pull the cameras up real quick for you right now as we continue to talk about some of this stuff.
There's Bella Vista, I-49, west of Bella Vista, interstate change.
Okay, so yeah, I'm pulling it up right now for you guys, and look at the camera network. iDrive network, so you could see the road conditions out there.
Probably a little small, but
I think you get the point where it's a lot of snow.
You see it's grayed out. Yeah,
roads aren't top notch at the current moment. They're not clear.
And again, we want to stress that sleet on top of what we've already seen, yes, it eats away at snowfall totals in terms of measurements, but it does create a bigger hazard on roads as that continues. And then, of course, we're going to see that change back into snow in some areas, maybe some mixed wintry precipitation on top of that, and everything's going to be frozen. So driving conditions, I have to stress, I mean, you're seeing driving conditions. People are, I mean, they're going a decent speed on the interstates right now. Please take that with a lot of grains of salt, literally, as we go throughout.
Caution. I would take extra caution with that because
conditions
you can easily lose control when you're going past. It's sort of like hydroplaning in a sense, where your tires will not have as much traction out on the roads after you're speeding up and going past a certain speed. And so you're likelier to lose control, and then it'll be harder to sometimes regain that control, especially if you don't know how to. So
and conditions will continue to deteriorate area wide as we go throughout the rest of the evening and into the overnight, especially after about 8-9 o'clock. You'll start to see those bands of activity continue to increase. Check out that band. If we can just go back to the Mega Doppler real quick, I might have to pull up Fort Smith cameras again, because that warm nose, that's heavy returns of sleet.
Oh yeah,
moving just to the southwest. Yesterday we had a time lapse of Dripping Springs, our Kisser Weatherbug Network camera just north of Fort Smith, and it almost looked like a shelf cloud moving in, but it was really just snow.
Exactly, yeah. And then Susie Ruby L. Go by her username there, right from YouTube. Start leaving a steady stream of water going on your faucet if you didn't drain the water out of your lines. Yes, exactly. Faucets.
We here, that's perfect. That's perfect timing.
Oh, you just pulled up the keys.
We have a graphic for everything here at for your weather authority team. We have a graphic for everything. So we got your cold weather tips. That is a very good comment and very good point. So we're going to go through all of the tips. Now, if you're a green thumb, your plants have probably already been inside by now, since it's been winter. Even though it started off as a pretty mild winter, it's been winter. Your plants are already probably inside. Your pipes, that is going to be the biggest thing in terms of your household. Like the comment said, you want to make sure that you're dripping your faucets. You also want to make sure that you're dripping hot and cold water in your faucets. I know a lot of people do not know that. You want to drip hot and cold water in your faucets. Disconnect the garden hoses, of course. Make sure they're empty as well, or you're going to have a very, very rough time when everything is unfrozen. And you also want to open the cabinets underneath your sinks where, of course, the pipes are exposed, because that allows warm air to circulate in your home. So that's going to be a very big thing to do. Exactly. And then, of course, even with power outages, you want to make sure that you're having all of the necessary precautions in place: blankets, non-perishable food items, things of that nature. And then, of course, don't remember to check on your neighbors and, your family members and things of that nature.
Yes.
But yeah, of course, we have a graphic for everything. Oh, and don't forget your furry friends. We love the Furcast pets that we get sent all in the morning time. Please make sure that they are okay as well and not exposed to the very, very cold temperatures, especially once this storm system moves past us.
Yeah, because it's not just a winter storm we're concerned about. It's also the cold that follows right after, and you still want to protect those 4 Ps during that time as well. I want a refund from my grocery bill. You might want to hold on to that comment, because we're still expecting the second wave to bring some more of that energy.
We're not done yet.
Not just that, the cold, like we've mentioned.
Also, it's better. I mean, you hear a lot of meteorologists getting a lot of slack right now. Oh, you guys said it was going to be this. It's not as bad. This and that. But our job is to make sure, of course, we want to be as accurate as possible. But even in the terms where, not saying that this is overshot, but even in the terms where we overshoot, it's better to be safe and us tell you to do this, and you listen, versus if we don't say anything and then there was no precautions kept and now you have then you have a bigger problem on your hands. You probably be out of a job or something.
I perfected the phrase: prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Yeah, because me and Chief Meteorologist Dan Scoff, we had a time trying to say that. We just kept messing it up.
I know.
We were running on fumes. Prepare, hope.
Prepare for the best, hope for the worst.
Yeah, so we were running on fumes. It happens.
It happens.
But nonetheless, that's what you get. Just joined. What do we think about flights coming in late tomorrow night in road conditions? Got to be honest, I don't see many planes taking off, at least not from here. Coming in, I don't know exactly how.
I guess it depends where you're flying from too, because if you're flying from the East Coast to here,
probably going to be a little rough. Now, if you're flying from like out west, especially in the northern portions of out west, it's cold there. But like if you're flying from like, let's say for example like Denver, you'll probably
all the way
okay.
out into here. At least the precipitation will be cleared now. It's up to the airport to decide if they have their
runways and everything now
cleared up.
In terms of road conditions tomorrow night, and they'll be pretty rough.
Take caution, especially on the local roads. I've driven out to XNA before, and especially on those local roads, it can be dark. It could probably get slippery, so take that with caution. But unless you're sticking to the highways, then you might have a better chance of getting home.
Should we bring Casey in? He was on the road yesterday.
Yeah, we could bring Casey in.
I could go grab Casey real quick.
Yeah, go grab Casey. Casey can give us a good idea of what those roads were like. So Davion's going to be doing that. If you want to just leave your mic here. Yeah. So he's going to go. Sweet. Okay. So he's going to go do that. It's better than the unknown. Exactly. Rather be prepared though. Also, lukewarm water dripping out of your faucets. Maybe the cold water, not so much. I did watch a TikTok earlier this morning where they left like the faucet dripping, but like they left it dripping with just cold water. I would assume that it like froze over. So it was like a frozen stream from the faucet into the sink there. So yes, keep that in mind for sure there. And are we expecting more snow overnight for Bella Vista? I would say yes. We're still expecting another few inches on top of what we've already seen. So maybe up to 8 inches there. So maybe 6 or up to 8 inches. That's definitely something to keep in mind. The higher res models are showing anywhere from 7 to 9 inches still from now all the way up until our Sunday afternoon. But we finally brought in a special guest here.
Slide in this way. Go and get in there.
They'll be able to hear you. I'll actually give you the mic real quick.
Yeah. Okay.
He should take the mic
when we
so they can hear you and
do I just
just click on, take the little magnet.
Okay, so
I'm sure they can hear you now. When we do 3 wide with all of us, they can hear Josh pretty well
here. Hopefully everybody can hear me.
Yeah. So I'm going to pull up satellite and radar real quickly, and obviously this is going to be what's happening right now. But you were out west last night, and you were explaining to us how there were some points where precipitation didn't look like it was reaching the ground yet, but you can see how quickly that changed over.
Right. It's the beauties of live television, right? It's kind of like when you bring up a weather bug camera and you're thinking, oh, hey, there's lightning in the area. Let me look for some lightning. And then the lightning doesn't come. And then you go to a different graphic. Then it's just a light show. That's what it kind of felt like last night, because we were doing a little bit of a live drive where we were trying to just document some of the road conditions, and all the way up until our 10:30 cutoff time for our newscast on air, there was nothing. We were originally going to plan on going I-49 north, and just because we were looking at the radar, and that's where we saw some of the blue patches, and we were like, okay, maybe if we go up toward Bentonville, Rogers area up that way, maybe we'll run into something. And I was like, at one point we were getting on the interstate. We got on at the 71B exit, and so then we were like, no, let's just go west. We know the weather is west. Let's go west and try and see if we can find it. So we hopped on 412. We went all the way past the Oklahoma-Arkansas border, and we were in West Siloam Springs. We went out past the Cherokee Casino out there. Didn't see.
No luck. Zero luck.
I was like, I have 20/20, but I was like sitting there like rubbing my eyes,
I have 20/20, but
making sure that I was actually seeing everything right. And I was like, even holding my hand. Here, I'll demonstrate this way. I was holding my hand out the passenger window, just trying to see, like, is there anything falling right now? And by that point, it was about 10:30. There was nothing, but we start making our way back 412, which was so weird. We get kind of to Tawnytown, like the western portion of Tawnytown, then where it meets Springdale, and that's where you start to see. We were looking over I think it was some fast food restaurant parking lot along that 412
got a little hungry on the strip.
Yeah. We didn't stop off at one of those, but we were at a stoplight and we looked over and we were like, okay, there's flurries you can see in the light just in the parking lot there.
Right.
By the time we got back to Fayetteville, though, there was starting to be some like dusting accumulation and things. We were at the intersection of Weddington and that's Garland there, where the Harps is at, and the Dominoes and things of that sort. And so we were there, and that's when it really started to lay down a little bit. And so the road conditions last night, by the time we got back, which was probably about 11:15 or so.
Yeah, not too bad.
They weren't anything like they are right now. And so it wasn't too terrible, but now totally different story.
Yeah, it's going to be a different story as we head into tonight. So one thing, we touched on this a little bit earlier. If you're just joining, last night when we were on, we were telling you about how the snowfall had to combat dry air first. It had to fight the dry air off before it would start reaching the ground. The thing with today's storm is a little different because all of that energy you're seeing, it's already reaching the ground. It doesn't have any dry air to combat. And we have a lot of energy to work with out to our west. Kind of similar story that we had last night, except last night it was fighting so hard. We had dew points in the negative. It was very dry in the upper levels or the lower levels of the atmosphere. That's not the case anymore. Even though we do have, of course, dry slots, it's going to be a little bit easier to overcome that with the precipitation that we're seeing. And that's why we do still expect to see additional accumulation that will eventually make our forecasted map correct. So I don't want to not to toot our own horns or anything, things of that nature.
And like we could also look out the roads right now.
Yeah.
We have our iDrive network. It's just
very different story.
Looking. How was your drive to work, Casey?
It wasn't too terrible. I went and picked up our producer Christina. I went over. She's kind of over on Huntsville. It's a little neighborhood off Huntsville Road. Yeah. And it wasn't too bad. I kind of Tokyo drifted my way into her parking lot, and so I was giving her tips because she's from Texas, and so I was trying to give her some tips on how to drive in some of this winter weather. You have a ton of space because nobody's out on the roadways. If you're going through a corner, enter high, then kind of cut it, and then go through. Well, that one I didn't necessarily take maybe the best entry. It was a little bit shallow, and so I started to skid. But don't panic if you start sliding. Your wheels will eventually get slowed down by some of the snow, and you won't slide too far. In my case, when I was picking her up, the curb also saved me and pushed me back in the right direction.
Glad you made it here safely.
Yeah, no,
glad you made it here.
It wasn't anything.
I see a comment. It says, "So I hear we have another winter storm next week." Well, we have a lot of energy to get through. We see how tough this forecast was in terms of trying to get this right and nail this down. I think we're just going to focus on the rest of this winter storm first before we start to see any more aspects of that. What I can say is, though, it's going to be cold throughout the rest of this week.
It's going to be brutal. Hope you have your they're called 180s officially, but they're kind of the mittens that cover your ears and go around the back. You can couple that with obviously a snow cap. Maybe double up on gloves if need be. Dude, I was going with, when I was doing my live shots yesterday, I was going with 4 layers. I had a peel back the curtain a little bit. I didn't have a KNWA polo on underneath or anything like that. I had
there we go.
There we go.
There we go.
The future's now with some of that motion detection.
OBS
it's crazy to me.
There we go.
It's
still
keep sliding over this.
I guess the camera just, I guess it likes me.
Yeah.
Too much.
Start turning over this way.
Okay. It stopped.
There we go. But yeah, so when I was doing my live shots, I had a long sleeve shirt on. I had kind of a regular Columbia jacket.
Right.
Then a bigger jacket on top of that.
Yeah, you look pretty bundled up in the live shot.
I tell you what though. So from here up and then from here probably to my waist, perfect. I wasn't cold or anything. Even though I had gloves on, my hands were still like I still had to hold them next to the man. See, I talk with my hands too much that
it's okay.
It starts to follow me a little bit.
Here's what we do. So it,
Yeah, how
it
do
can
you
track
how do
our
you do this?
So it tracks our face. So
Mhm.
you just that's not what we
So-
are.
Now we're looking to the sky.
Oh, now it's trying to shut off.
Guys.
Yeah.
Okay, OBS bot just doesn't like us. I just put it that way. It wants to look at the sky, maybe
Yeah.
check out how much snow is falling.
Yeah.
It's a little excited.
Probably glitching out from how many
Ugh.
hours we've used it today.
Yeah, OBS bot is a little tired. He wants to go to sleep. It's okay. We'll just try to adjust need be. Okay.
But yeah, so then on top of that, I had a little bit of KNWA branding. It was more like a windbreaker type jacket
Mhm.
on top of that, just to have it on the outward appearance. But yeah, be sure you're bundling up. Have an extra pair of socks. Have an extra snow cap.
Perfect
I have
time
an
to-
extra bit of gloves in my car as well, a blanket. I
Perfect
wasn't
time
able to find any sand because you're able to weigh down your car a little bit more with some sand and provide a little bit more traction. And if you
Right.
get stuck, that's another way you can try and get some traction on your tires to try and help out with that.
Perfect time to show you this graphic because we are under an extreme cold warning, and this is pretty rare. When Chief Meteorologist Dan Scoff was telling me, he was saying this is kind of a new product that they have. So when we see this issued, you see those temperatures, wind chills and air temperatures are
Yeah.
likely to be below zero as we go throughout the next couple of nights, and even beyond that, temperatures will still remain pretty cold.
Yeah, the coldest I've ever been in, it felt like -30 when I was up in Indianapolis catching a Texans Colts game. This was January of 2017. And so we would have to go shop to shop. We were just in the downtown square there.
Mhm.
We were going shop to shop, and it hurt to breathe. Like,
Oh, man.
it,
Yeah.
like you breathe in through your nose or anything like that, and
Right.
it hurts to breathe. And so we can't stress this enough. Stay indoors if you don't have to go out, because the warmest place you can be is inside, because any skin that's exposed in some of these type temperatures, it'll just it says it right there on the screen. Hypothermia and frostbite,
Yeah.
certainly possible if you have any skin exposed.
And I have to say the language that the National Weather Service used was life-threatening cold if
Yep.
you do not take the proper precautions for this kind of cold temperatures that we're going to be seeing. I want to draw your attention back to Mega Doppler really quickly. I see a comment that says, are we going to get any more snow in Rogers? It's all it's doing is flurries, nowhere near a foot. Well, you can see on Mega Doppler as we zoom in, of course, Rogers is way up here. And yeah, we're going to see more snow. I do have to say that's a lot of energy out to the west. That's moving towards northwest Arkansas. And of course, Rogers will see some of that. Even if I take it off Mega Doppler and I show, I see we have a lot. Yeah, show the second round because we showed this before. Look at the shield of precipitation off to the left or to the right or to the west, I should say. There we go. That's a lot of energy that's moving towards us, and it's not going to have to fight any dry air once again. So everything that you see is going to be able to reach the ground pretty easily. There may be an initial fight of dry air at the very start of this moving in, but yeah, we do expect precipitation to pick up in terms of intensity, especially as we head into late this evening and into the overnight period. Heavy snow will be returning. Heavy bands of snow will be returning at that. So we're not done yet. I do think we're going to continue to see an additional accumulation that will equal our entire storm totals up to 10 to 12 inches plus across portions of our coverage area.
Right. And I mean, we were talking about just the impacts trying to drive on 3.5 inches or so, where some of those roads are also kind of getting some grooves where people are driving on them, which is beneficial. The lanes themselves kind of become optional a little bit.
No,
You're
really.
just trying to find anywhere with traction.
That's certainly true. You see, not a lot slow over there.
Right, exactly.
Going right.
Hey, the hatch line right there in the middle of the road, that's just kind of going right underneath the car. Things that so obviously drive safe and don't try and drive side by side next to somebody, because one of y'all hits one slick patch or anything like that, you'll go sliding into each other, wipe each other out.
Oh yeah.
And so just I can only imagine what we've seen driving on 3.5 inches of snow. We have obviously I know they call it the Octo Box on Red Zone. What would this be? The Nano Box?
The Nano Box, I guess. Speaking of Red Zone, before we let you go, because we do have a show at 6 o'clock. Okay, so you have to continue to work on that, I'm assuming.
Yep.
before we let you go, I did want to show you this. If I can find the camera that we were looking at earlier. Yeah, there it is. Of course, we have the big KNWA game coming up.
Of course, yeah.
Unfortunately, this is perfect football weather. I mean, but
in my opinion, yeah.
this is Lambeau Field. This is
this is Eli Manning having to go face off against Brett Favre in the NFC Championship.
Yes,
this is great football weather. Football's meant to be played outside. I'm not subscribing to this dome football propaganda.
Right.
Play the game outside.
Play the game outside. Check a look at Pea Ridge Junior High School. That football field is covered. Yeah, this is the football weather you stat pad in.
Oh yeah,
nice stat lines going.
This is the LaShawn McCoy against the Colts in 2017. Adam Vinatieri with the greatest extra point of all time in that game to force overtime.
It was a very great analogy. But as we shift our focus back to what's going on right now, we do have a very big winter storm that's continuing to move through our area.
Yep.
Casey, I know you have to continue to get ready for the show, so we'll shift our focus back. But
thank you
thank you
of course,
hopping on our live and giving us a recap of last night and what's more to come, because we're not done yet.
Nope,
we're not done yet.
Not in the slightest. It was good joining everybody. Y'all take care. Stay warm.
So yes, tune into Fox 24 as always if you want to see Casey over on the weekends. He brings in a lot of energy, and he's also an amazing person. And he also went to Ohio State just like me. So there you go. So there is that for us.
They have that bond together. I'm not.
It's just natural to me. What can I say? If you're saying OH, obviously I'm going to be responding with IO. It's just part of me here. But let's go ahead and shift on over to temperatures. I know we've been kind of teasing this for quite some time, but I think the ICAST here.
Yeah, the ICAST has
let's
a
do the
ICAST
better
first, handle. It's
so.
short range.
Yes.
The European model it's a long range model trying to predict short range.
Yeah, the ICAST will do you very, very well
really
with hour by hour. So we'll pull that up for you. I know you had it pulled up.
Stand by really quickly.
I got it.
Library. Yeah,
I got it.
Go.
So we'll go. I'll like
switch
manually go through it. So straight to the
boom. Check that out.
Track and look at that.
Keep track of your temperatures. It's already cold, guys. We can't stress this enough. It's going to continue to get cold. And you see all the streamlines, the winds
coming in from the
pick
north
up a little bit tomorrow.
So
winds will be between 10 to 20 plus miles per hour tomorrow afternoon, and that's certainly going to cause a bit of a wind chill problem. And that's why that warning continues to remain in place until Monday afternoon.
So you can look at tonight right now, and you can see those temperatures. They're going to get cold here. I mean, we're talking single digits, down into the teens in the River Valley region. But look at those feels like or the wind chills per se, down into the negatives. So it's going to feel really cold.
Brutally
cold. And then as we continue into the rest of our Sunday afternoon, temperatures are not going to go that much higher, unfortunately. We're barely going to be warming up here. You're still looking at temperatures in the teens and maybe in the 20s for parts of the River Valley region. But keep in mind the wind chills, just because of those winds coming from the north and picking up here. So even while it's going up to 16 degrees, it's not going to feel like that.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be very rough. And this is why we are continuing to say that whatever we see in terms of accumulation, it won't be gone by the time we get to Monday. So the treacherous driving conditions are going to continue late into next week, because temperatures are going to struggle to get above freezing. And when they do get above freezing, it'll only be for a few hours before things cool right back down. And that's why we're going to continue to see just treacherous driving conditions, cold temperatures as well. So yeah, we've got a lot on our hands that's going to be continuing. I'm drawing something real quick because I want to paint a picture. It's going to be a very rough picture, but nonetheless, it's going to paint the idea of what's happening.
And I'll keep talking about those temperatures here. Monday is where we've really been eyeing those temperatures, because actual air temperatures could be down into the negatives there, especially here in Fayetteville and where Drakefield is at, further down into the south there. So a little bit more isolated. And look at those temperatures in the single digits. It feels like temperatures and the wind chills actually I shall say in the negatives all over again. And then Monday morning picks back up just a little bit there. So that goes out to 2 p.m. Very short time frame. Now we could show you give you an exact estimate as to what the Euro is going to be showing you for around the exact same time. It doesn't have necessarily what we think those temperatures will be, but it gives you a good idea of what those trends possibly look like. So we think it could go up a little bit more Monday afternoon. Remember, this only goes out very few hours. It doesn't go hour by hour, but looking at teens still. And then even Tuesday morning should stay relatively chilly, but notice how those temperatures are even the Euro is showing temperatures in the negatives for
that's
the River Valley,
man.
Boonville.
It's going to be, those protected valleys are going to continue to be cold.
It's going to be a cold trend.
And notice the winds. The winds are continuing to stay calm.
Exactly.
Clear skies and calm winds.
Picking up from the southwest, so temperatures pick up a little bit, but then you can see it kind of calms down heading into your Tuesday. Temperatures back up into the 20s approximately.
Look at the colors of the map. Notice that when we usually talk about high temperatures, the map starts to turn green a little bit, maybe a few yellows. There's none of that happening. We're staying blue and purple.
High temperatures do not feel like high temperatures whatsoever. And so I can pull up a good graphic here to show you the lows for the following nights here. This is a perfect idea of what to look out for. So this is for the River Valley region. Notice how
I'm going to put my face on real quick just to make sure the camera's good.
Okay, yeah. Notice how those bars are just so low.
Yeah, zero.
Zero.
Now look at our normal low temperature for this time of year in the River Valley is 30 degrees. That's just below freezing.
Actually, after this, normal low temperatures actually begin to pick back up.
Yeah.
So
we're on the second half. We're turning the wheel back to longer days.
Temperatures slowly going up.
It doesn't feel like that right now. It's kind of hard to think about.
We've had a delay in those cold temperatures, man. December, we had it too good per se with those temperatures in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, I think it's
even 60s for the first half of this month.
And Dan told us we were probably going to pay for having an 85-degree Christmas,
and we're paying the price right now.
And speaking of that, just to show you guys what's going on, so on water vapor imagery. Here, let's see if I can get my pointer on this one. Looks like I will be able to, so that's great if I can find it. Yeah, so we've got this Arctic air mass that's still continuing to stream down, and it's combining with all of the energy from the upper level low, and that's why we're getting very cold precipitation. Here's also another setup or reason why we're having that. This is a very rough draft graphic, so bear with me. I'm making it on the fly. But air around high pressure, if you didn't know, air around high pressure, it looks like our lights are starting to die. Yeah, everyone's tired, or all the equipment's tired.
All the lights are
air around high pressure actually goes clockwise. So as I show you this graphic, we've got a large, and I mean a large, high pressure system over central and southern portions of Wisconsin. And you see those streamlines wrapping around that and funneling in all of that cold air into the storm. And that's why you start to see that snow band. But look at what happens if we zoom in a little closer. You see we have warm air advection coming in from the south, and that's why you're starting to see the freezing rain become what it is across portions of the south and eventually into the southeast. And yeah, that's essentially fueling all of the cold air in terms of our storm that we're going to continue to see. And of course, that leads into why we're continuing to see different types of snow or different types of wintry precipitation, as well. So this is a very large and complex system, as most winter storms usually are. But this has got to be the largest winter storm that I certainly have ever seen in my very short career.
Or I've seen in a hot minute. This is just massive.
Will there be any more snow in Fayetteville? Oh, yes. Certainly. So here's a look at Mega Doppler right now. I'm going to zoom it in just a little bit. You can see there's just a lot of heavy bands. Oh my goodness. Check out Fort Smith as well. It looks like that warm nose got nudged down a little bit and it came back.
Yeah.
So yes, all of this energy is going to continue to work its way to the west. And yeah, we are not done yet. We're going to see more accumulation, as none of this doesn't have to fight dry air as hard as yesterday's accumulation did in the initial points. So a lot of this is heavy returns will actually begin to reach the ground. So we're going to start to see conditions deteriorate as we continue to head through the rest of the late afternoon and into the evening.
Exactly. The second round is coming around.
Yeah. Second round is coming around. In the right corner, we had about 3.5 inches. Standing in the left corner, we have this big bad brother.
Yep. So it's coming in. It's coming in, to say the least. And switching on over to Northwest Arkansas, low temperatures too. Look at that. -5 Monday. Yeah, look at the difference here between like the River Valley per se. So we'll go to the River Valley here. Switch on over. You see it's kind of about the same as what it's going to be like here, and then you see Northwest Arkansas, especially our lows Monday morning, -5. -5.
Yeah,
So
that is
it's
very cold.
going to be cold. So make sure to prepare. And Lisa brought up a good point on Facebook, like, yes, it's going to take a while to get rid of the snow because it's so cold. Everything is going to be freezing over with how cold it is. So snow removal is definitely going to take a while there. Temperatures are not in the 30s per se, where you could see some soggy snow, especially when the sun is shining on it. We have none of that out there whatsoever. So a good look at road conditions to give you guys an idea of what it's looking like. And also the orange is sleet there. So we could switch on over to Mega Doppler and Davion if you could go further down there.
Yeah, there we go. So I recently changed the radar site to Tulsa because I saw a comment asking why the radar is showing stuff, but it's not doing anything.
Yes.
So a lot of this, you gotta remember that the further away from you are from the radar is how far is the higher up the radar is. So the further are you away, it's measuring what's happening in the upper portions of the atmosphere, but not what's happening at the surface. And then again, even though it won't have as hard of a fight against dry air as it did last night, it's still going to have a fight of dry air. You can see that's why it's just not one huge blob without any dry aspects to it in terms of reflectivity. So here's a look at Fort Smith going further south, you said, right?
Yeah, Fort Smith showing the sleet. The orange is sleet there for the people asking.
And the radar beam is right in Fort Smith. So that's pretty heavy returns for.
And so some people are asking, about dew point temperatures and those temperatures outside right now. So here are those current temperatures. It's
cold.
Chilly. It's cold. It's cold. It's cold. No other way to put it other than it's cold outside. So that's definitely something to keep in mind as we head over the next few hours.
Almost started singing the Christmas song, but we can't sing on the live.
So, and then Fayetteville, 9 degrees. You can see those dew points do differ a little bit, but
oh, there it is.
Yeah, look at that. So if you see temperatures, and then Fort Smith. Look at that. So very close to saturation, especially down in Fort Smith there. So right now, snow is beginning to fall around the regions, and we can begin to look at a couple of cameras. Well, first we could pull up, the road conditions, of course. There we go. These are actually our WeatherBug Network cameras here. So you could see right now Hunter, Gaither, Harrison, Gaither, I meant to say, but let's go ahead and zoom in on some of these cameras actually. So if I pull up Harrison right now, which I'm looking for, I had it somewhere on here and I can't find it. So it's okay. It happens. So
what I do want to show you. So last night we had a time lapse. I mentioned that on our Kisser network, WeatherBug Network camera in Dripping Springs, just to the north of Fort Smith and Van Buren. Here is a look at, well, that's Harrison, but here is a look at Kisser right now. Just as that heavier band is starting to approach Fort Smith, and it certainly looks like it's approaching the camera as well. As you can see, the gray conditions, and that is definitely some more precipitation well on its way into the River Valley in the form of snow and freezing rain, or not freezing rain, but sleet. Maybe some freezing rain further south of that. But yeah, that's definitely going to cause some more accumulation. So yeah, we're not done yet. We are not done yet.
Oh yeah, we still have a long ways to go. And then here's also Lincoln. We haven't looked at some of the other cameras, so we could go ahead and just give a good idea of what it's looking like in other areas, how the road conditions may possibly be for where you are. So yeah, there is Lincoln. And then here's Huntsville Middle School. Look at the road right there, just covered in snow. Look how gray it looks out there as well.
That's a lot of precipitation.
Oh yeah, to say nonetheless. So mix of snow and sleet there, I'm pretty sure, from what we've been seeing. And then Siloam Springs, look at that, just snow near Alum Elementary. The road, you can barely see it as that car continues to drive through it. Looking at Alma High School, look how clean, clean that snow looks like. Looks like a canvas, ready to get painted.
You know what I saw yesterday? Speaking of canvas painting going, Fox was having his time painting a canvas on the road. His footprints were right on the road as I was heading home after the shows last night.
Oh yeah,
A fox was actually out. That was probably the closest up I've seen a fox. So here, it's been a while since we looked at
yes.
Future
So
Track.
let's go ahead and give everyone a cool recap, or not a cool recap, but a good recap.
It's a cool one. It's cold.
It's cool. It's cold, but a good recap of what's going to be possible over the next few hours. So if you're just now joining us, we're going to continue to look.
And I have to say, before we start this, this actually looks pretty nice, because
outside the window now.
Outside the window right now, that's the model is looking like it's doing a pretty good job. Has a good handle on that. Just around the time it's initializing the her model, so you can see as I switch this over to Max 1 Full. There you go. Future Track, that looks pretty similar to Mega Doppler right now. You see we got heavier band just about to move into portions of Fort Smith, and we still have that arm of precipitation, light precipitation over portions of Northwest Arkansas. And look how heavy it gets as we head into the late evening hours. That is a strong band moving in across portions of Northwest Arkansas. Here, before we do that, I'm gonna switch this back to Mega Doppler real quick. I want to take off that scene camera that we have on there, and I want to just put it onto let's see, there we go. So there's Mega Doppler. Of course, I want to take this scene camera real quick just so I can zoom in a little bit, give you guys a better idea of what's happening, because there is a lot more moisture that's to come as we go throughout the next several hours. So we're not done yet. We're going to continue to see accumulation, and that's why we're saying we're not done. The system, there's a 1-2 punch with this system.
Oh yeah.
And so here we go. A look at the her model, the latest her model, the hourly, and here we go. So that looks pretty accurate right now. As we go throughout 6 o'clock and into 7 o'clock, please don't do the joke. No, I'm joking. But you can see that warm nose trying to nudge over Fort Smith and portions of the River Valley along I-40. But check out 8 p.m. Those darker blues that you see are heavy precipitation. That's a lot of returns. And then you'll see as we go throughout the next several hours beyond that those returns stay pretty strong as we head throughout the rest of the evening and into the night. And even another stronger band moving through late in the early morning hours, I should say. Now, it'll be interesting to see how this sets up, because this shows a lot of heavy precipitation right along the warm nose, where it changes over from sleet to snow. And notice how far south it is from portions of Northwest Arkansas. So we'll see how this plays out. Obviously, the model has a good handle on what's happening now, but it could change as we go throughout the next several hours. Yeah. And we've seen that time and time again with that warm nose.
Energy,
in fact,
Baja energy.
Yeah, in fact, warm nose looks about to stay the same. And you can see that on her model. The NAM model has that warm bias that we like to talk about, but nonetheless, it had the same a similar solution, I should say, on that as well. So we're gonna take a look at the NAM as well, because why not? We're taking a look at models right now. So here's a look at what's happening now. It doesn't have the best handle of what's happening right now. It's not horrible, but not inaccurate. But watch how the NAM fills everything in the River Valley of precipitation. And look at that. So this has the heavier snow line, the warm nose, a little bit further north, right into central southern Washington County, and points eastward. And and it shows that heavy snow throughout the overnight. So the NAM actually has a little bit of a northern solution when it comes to the heaviest rain.
Mm-hmm.
The takeaway from all of this is, whether it's sleet, frozen or freezing rain, or snow, we're going to continue to see.
I don't think we'll get freezing rain. That's for sure.
Yeah,
but still looking at a sleet and snow mix outside right now. And then
the takeaway from that is, we're going to continue to see rapidly deteriorating conditions and more accumulation.
Oh yeah, and we could show you just how this system, it's so massive. Look at the water vapor and the energy. Here's where the low pressure is at. So if I take the arrow real quick to show you where exactly it is, here it is. There's that kicker system that's throwing all those energies just out towards us, and you could see it just traveling all the way out here. So still a decent amount of energy ahead of it. That's what's coming our way right now. So we're still, if you're just now joining us, still expecting a second wave of that energy. You could look at Mega Doppler and see it beginning to pick up across the River Valley region as well as Northwest Arkansas, both in the form of sleet, but also a sleet slash or like wintry mix overall here in Northwest Arkansas from what people are beginning to report there. But you can see it's really picking up nonetheless. So we're still expecting more accumulations on top of this. I could show you if I pull it up real quick, I could show you the snowfall totals that we're still expecting. So across the region so far, we've seen a good amount of reports that, show from approximately, 3 up to 4 inches, in some areas 4.5 inches. But we're still expecting the bulk of this energy to be coming from this second round coming around right now. So if I pull up the snow accumulation, I'm pulling up the forecasted snow and sleet totals. This is going to be total, including what's already fallen. So
exactly.
Yes, this is not what we're expecting from now to Sunday. This is the entire situation here. So we're still expecting a good amount of snowfall to fall, especially with this second round here. So by the end of it, especially up towards the north here, Bella Vista, Bentonville, up into northern portions of Benton County into the Missouri area, you could expect 8 to 10 inches. Also expecting that in Grove, Oklahoma as well. As you travel farther south, 10 to 12 inches. Still expecting 12 to 16 inches in the higher elevations, just because, chances of experiencing sleet are a little less right there right now. It could be really cold up there. And then 10 to 12 inches as you make your way down south and towards Alma, Fort Smith, along I-40. And then just south of that accumulation, this is where, we see sleet and snow kind of fight for power here, because if you see more sleet, you're going to see significantly a lot less snow, just because sleet requires more more liquid per se than snow does. So that's why you're expecting. And we could still potentially see just a little bit of ice, especially towards LaFleur and Scott counties, especially in Waldron there. So that's definitely something to consider. But even if you have a lot of sleet, that is, a major concern for road conditions, because it's just gonna they're gonna how can I put it? It's basically like one big old ice sheet that it'll become out on those roads.
Things,
and so
whatever falls, especially with these very cold conditions, whatever falls is going to refreeze.
Yes,
or stay
exactly.
Frozen.
It's going to stay cold.
Stay cold. Things will stay frozen, I should say, and that's going to continue to cause or paint a very big problem for the roadways. Ice shield covering.
Definitely.
Yeah. So like we said, we do expect travel conditions to continue to deteriorate as we go throughout the next several hours. Of course, it doesn't look horrible right now, but it's still a little bit early. A lot of the moisture as well as energy is still off to the west of us. As we head into the late evening hour, the early evening into the overnight hours, we'll start to see those conditions rapidly deteriorate with more energy as we continue to move forward.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I'm trying to pull up
stand by,
power outages. But if you want to go through snow accumulation first, as to what
so I was going to show you guys. So we did look at the HER a few moments ago. Here is the latest on the HER, and this is actually a little interesting. This may be shocking to some of you, because while it did look like, let me see if I grab it. There it is. So while it did look like we were going to see a lot more, and it does still look like that. The latest HER, I don't know, Aleshly, maybe you can tell me. This looks like it trends maybe down a little, maybe across. Well, we've already seen about 3.5 to 4 inches. Add another 4, so maybe trending down just a little bit. It certainly has in the River Valley, showing only about another additional 3 inches of accumulation.
Yes, but also still a decent amount of snow up towards the Bentonville, Rogers, Anderson, Cassville, Grove area.
Exactly. Now, of course, this is not the end all be all. This is just one
model. This is one model. What they're expecting. We've had the NAM, that's been on the warmer end in terms of things. So it was expecting more sleet for us. So this is just to give you an idea still what's to come. But in a good summary is what we've had already is not the end of it. Like, we're expecting a lot more snow to come down. So, continue to prepare while you still can,
So taking another look at the 4 models, and this is snow depth.
Yes.
And you can see the lower resolution NAM kind of a similar story, just a little bit higher in terms of the snowfall rates or the snowfall in portions of extreme northwest Arkansas, southwestern Missouri. But nonetheless, a very similar story. Of course, the Nest is going to show a very similar situation as well. And we're still ignoring the GFS. We just don't.
But overall, I think it gives you a good idea of where this winter storm is trending. And it actually, for me, it looks like it's trending farther north in terms of higher accumulation.
And that makes sense because that warm nose has continued to trend right to the central and southern portions of Washington County and then down. So a little bit further north than Interstate 40 and then portions down. So that bullseye could be a little bit further north and across portions of northwest Arkansas.
I would say a little bit further north than even what the snow accumulations we have are right now. And as always, this will be updating with newer model trends, and that's what the newer model trends are showing. So what they had this morning is not necessarily what they're going to have now. So that's a good discrepancy to have. But Mega Doppler right now, looking at it across the region, look at all that energy just piling in. And while we look at Mega Doppler over there, I want to go ahead and take a good look at the iDrive Arkansas cameras, or not iDrive, but actually power outage map, because I know some people have been asking about it. So this is poweroutage.com, and starting to look at power outages more so to the south, not necessarily a concern here, but
Louisiana and Texas, where you continue to see a lot of freezing rain. You zoom this out, it probably doesn't show all of it.
Because you have to go to
to shift to a southern radar. Let's see, we can go to, do we have any that far south? Shreveport.
So let's go to Shreveport. Look at that. Look at the reds. Look at the freezing rain there.
Very big problem in terms of freezing rain. That is a lot of freezing rain.
It looks like a little bit of a drier area than what we're seeing here, but still, nonetheless, freezing rain is still a massive concern for them nonetheless. So Shreveport is quite literally right in the middle of that freezing rain.
So that's why you're seeing power outages across Texas as well as Louisiana.
So if you want to show Mega Doppler real quick so that people know what we're looking at.
Yeah, there we go. So here's a look at Mega Dopplers. Sorry about that. So here you can see all of the shades of red. That's freezing rain down to the south. And this is why you have ice storm warnings that extend this far south, because of all of the freezing rain you're seeing. And then also want to make the point, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Some of you see it looks very dry on Mega Doppler. It doesn't have to be heavy freezing rain to cause very big problems.
Oh no, freezing rain can have immediate impacts.
The lighter,
it's not a joke.
The lighter the rain is, the easier it is to stay on whatever surface it first hits. So if I'm a light drizzle and I fall on a power line, I don't really go anywhere. I just freeze right there. And you already know that causes a lot of problems. So how many customers are without power?
So if we go ahead and switch on over so our viewers can see right now.
So here is a look at
where you just go to max 2.
Yeah, max 2 full.
There we go. So Louisiana right now is claiming about 50,000, nearly 51,000 or 50,600 customers that are out in power there. And then in Texas, about the same, just if not a little bit more by 1,000. And then in Arkansas, only about 3,751. So we could look here, and Polk County and Howard County are following with, or
Polk County.
And
is that Sebastian County?
No, Sevier County. I think that's how you say it, Sevier County. If you guys can help me with that. I'm still learning the counties around here, but I know our region.
Name. I'm sorry.
Yes, no, you're good. Polk County has the highest, or actually no, Sevier County has the highest, followed by Polk. Outage percentage though, 21%.
Yeah, that's
21%, and same for further down south, 13%, and then Little River and also Miller County slowly beginning to creep up with some of those numbers, but those numbers are very low here. So if we go back out and then look towards Louisiana is where we have the bulk of it. Look at this. Look at this. DeSoto County over in Louisiana, for the customers tracked, over 50% of them is without power. And so you're seeing these numbers slowly beginning to creep up along Louisiana. So power outages right now are not a concern here, especially since we're only seeing snow and sleet. It could become a concern, especially with the extreme cold we are expecting over the following days here. Then you can see Texas as well, looking at counties with, 33% and 28% percentage of outages there, 20% of outage there. So yes, that's, something we're keeping an eye on. But right now, power outages, there's necessarily maybe 4 people, it says, in Washington County, but like for the rest of us, there are no other reported power outages. So I hope that gives you a good idea of what's to happen. And yeah, that's what's going on right now. And then, yeah, of course, some of the other regions looking at freezing rain, sleet, snow, and around St. Paul. Do you have to get ready for the show?
No, I was pulling up
Okay.
Waldron really quickly. I wanted to show how the sleet is really starting to fill in.
Yeah.
We were zooming in on light fixtures last night because obviously it's a little easier to see wintry precipitation at night. We're starting to see the lights go down as the sun is starting to set. And yeah, you can see just under that light fixture, that looks like a lot of precipitation. You can see how gray it is in the background as well. And that's because Waldron is fighting a battle right now with a lot of sleet as well as just a wintry mix involved. You can see that on Mega Doppler as well. So there's a current look at freezing rain and sleet, or not freezing rain, but sleet happening right now across Waldron. And yeah, the
just
River
the
Valley.
south, yeah, Scott
really just
County
the south,
there,
Scott County. And literally Fort Smith and Point South
Logan,
continuing to
Sebastian,
see sleet.
it's slowly creeping its way up. So,
and that's that warm nose that we're talking about. We even have a comment not too long ago. Hey guys, we're getting sleet in Rogers. Yeah, not all of the return is exactly 100%. It's kind of hard to deteriorate or determine, I should say, between rain, snow, or not rain, but freezing rain, sleet, and snow with a system this large. But nonetheless, where the most of it is happening, where you have that warm nose, is Fort Smith and Point South. It's just a lot of energy that's continuing to move in. Taking another look, we'll shift this over to satellite and radar just so I can give you guys another look at the energy that's still off to the west, because we are not done yet, as we've continued to say. So here's a look at what it looks like area wide right now. Zooming this out just a little bit, as you'll see, get all of those counties off. So there, that shield of precipitation over the Texas Panhandle, that's continuing to fill in. So we're not done with this system just yet. And you'll notice there's still energy coming out of the state of New Mexico as well. So we have a long ways to go with all of this precipitation continuing to move towards our area. And that's going to continue to up those snowfall totals and those sleet totals as well.
Yes, exactly. And someone's asking how much snow did the Siloam Springs get. I don't have an exact number, but I could approximate about 3.5 inches from what reports have been slowly looking like coming in. So yeah, you could see, obviously, this is only the beginning of it. Still expecting a lot more over the coming hours, of course. So we'll definitely be keeping a track on this. And I know, Davion, you're taking care of some of the night shows here at KNWA. So if you also want to give people the time frame of the shows here so that, they can tune in to the newscast if they like to.
Yes, that's right. So we do have a KNWA newscast that's coming up in about 10 minutes. It starts at 6 o'clock. And then we, of course, have a Fox show at 9 and then another KNWA show at 10 o'clock. So you can tune in 6, 9, and 10 to catch the latest on what we're continuing to see and cover across the entire coverage area with all of this wintry precipitation that's continuing to move through our area. Of course, some of you guys are seeing more than others right now, but we're going to likely see all of this fill in as we head throughout the rest of our evening and into the overnight hours. And that's why we're continuing to paint the picture that we are not done yet in terms of precipitation as well as accumulation. We are not done yet.
And also, so much so, we'll cut the live here in 5 minutes so that Davion can get ready here and go ahead and jump onto the green screen. But we're not done with live coverage yet. I will say we have Dan Scoff and Josh Rugger coming back tomorrow morning to give you the latest rundown of what it looked like.
I wonder if they'll come in with Baja Blast.
I saw you guys had your Baja Blast,
Yeah, It was
last
right.
night.
It was only right. Rugger brought us Baja Blast, and it was only right as we started to see the Baja Blast energy move through our area.
Yeah, so 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Wherever you're tuned in right now is where we could expect them to be tuned in again tomorrow morning. So will Siloam Springs get more snow tomorrow? Yes, pretty much region-wide, we will continue to get more snow there. So that's, I mean, we've been looking at the Mega Doppler here, and it's just a whole lot of energy there. So I could zoom out once again real quick to show you what it's been looking like. And I mean, look at all this energy here. And I'll also pull up the satellite and radar to show you how much more energy is going to be coming in terms of that precipitation there. So we could move into this right here, and it gives you a good idea of where that low is right now. So all that energy is still coming out well ahead of it right now here. So look at that. Look at that. So it's not breaking up anytime soon. It's going to continue to impact us over the next few hours, all the way up until early tomorrow afternoon. It really doesn't begin to taper off up until 12 p.m. Sunday, I will say. And then you could see it to pretty much be dry by 5 p.m. tomorrow. So look at all that energy. It's a very big system that we're keeping an eye on. So a good to put it in a nutshell here is second round coming in. The snow is not giving up. This is another round of the system. So obviously continue to prepare and clean off your cars and make sure your cars are fine. Protect the 4 Ps, pets, plants, people, and pipes. Make sure your faucets are running. Not only because of the snow, it's going to be cold. We are under an extreme snow warning extreme cold warning. My words are getting all mixed up here. Extreme cold warning all the way up until Monday. Yes,
Monday afternoon at about noon. Yes, unless it gets extended. But beyond that, it'll still be cold. It'll
still be cold. So protect all of them so far. And yeah, like people are saying, 3 inches in Farmington, and so there's a lot more coming. Agreed. Not seeing much snow indicator. Are we still expecting more? Yes, pretty much region-wide, like I mentioned. Yep. Expecting a decent amount of snow, especially with the second system coming in. So I'll move it on over to me for now while Davion continues to prepare here, but pretty much giving the final goodbyes per se. Let's go ahead and look at those temperatures outside right now to give everyone an idea of what it's at. It's cold. It's cold. If you plan on leaving out of the house over the next few hours, even though it's probably best to stay home by this point here because that sun has been going down. So it's getting darker outside. It's cold. So you can see those temperatures down to 12 degrees here in Fayetteville, down into the 20s in the River Valley region. And as we continue to look over the next several hours here, it's going to get even colder. We'll be studying out just a little bit at the beginning of the system, but you know, by 7 in the morning, you could see that low of 7 and then 16 there. And then look at that as well, River Valley, just keeping an eye on that nonetheless. So
man, those temperatures are brutal.
They are brutal. And it's just, man, it's cold. I
takes your breath away. Takes your breath away about how cold it's going to be. That's going to be the next. We have a 1-2 punch with the storm, and then the third punch will be the very cold temperatures that come after that.
Oh yeah, so we could go ahead and look at some of the cameras right now to see what it's looking like, so that people get an idea of what it's looking like. Look at Kisser. Oh, Tripping Springs. They're
and we showed you that heavy precipitation band that was about to move into Fort Smith. This is just to the north of Fort Smith, and yeah, look at that. Yeah, you're not going to see much. Visibility is pretty
still
bad.
Looking at that precip falling under the light. You know, it's getting darker now, so you're beginning to see some of that precip falling across the area. Bentonville, can't really see much of the precip falling there. In some cameras, it's better than others. Harrison, also, look at that.
Oh, man.
It's really picking up.
White out.
Look at that in Gaither Mountain. So, yeah, definitely still continuing to keep an eye on this over the next few hours. But as I've mentioned, make sure to tune in from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. tomorrow to catch Dan and Josh, but also tune in to the show here in just a little bit because Davion will be going live and we will be cutting this live here now. So, you know, he's prepping up for the last 5 minutes. But thank you everyone for joining in for this 2-hour update. We really appreciate all the nice comments. We've been keeping our eye on them over the last few hours. So your comments are not going unnoticed for the most part. So thank you everyone for joining, and you know, come back here, join us tomorrow see Dan and Josh, and from time to time you will continue to see us jump on lives, of course. And we're still pretty active on social media, so you can find him on Facebook and me on Facebook, meteorologist Aleshly Castro, and Davion Huggins. And also my Instagram is Aleshly WX, and that's the abbreviation for weather. And then yours,
mine is WX Davion. So pretty simple, pretty
stout. Yep. So thank you everyone for joining, and yes,
stay safe, stay
warm,
and tune into the shows. We're going live in about 4 minutes, KNWA, and then Fox and KNWA at 9 and 10 o'clock as well.
All right, thank you everyone.